prepared for the next wartime project, Master Hatter J.S. Fakela.
JS, looking smart as ever.
Thank you very much.
Eddie Smythe has a threadbare piece of military uniform that bore witness to a unique and hair-raising series of events.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the barn.
Thank you.
What have you brought in for us then?
This is my father, John Smythe's RAF cap, which he wore during World War II.
Okay. Tell us a bit about your dad.
Well, my dad was from Sierra Leone, and when World War II started, he volunteered to join the RAF, where he trained, became an officer, and joined Bomber Command.
Why did he want to join the RAF?
Well, I think one was Sierra Leone was part of the British Empire at the time.
Okay.
But also he knew that if Hitler and his Nazi regime had succeeded, it would be bad for the whole world. So he was willing to step up and play his part. My father never talked about the war when we were growing up as children.
Right.
It's only since he's died that I've been able to research his story and find out a lot more about what went on.
How much about that do you know?
Well, in his training camp, there were about 95 men, and he was one of the 5 promoted to officer, which was very rare, because in 1939, when the war started, the RAF had a colour bar, so you weren't allowed to join the RAF if you were black.
I didn't realise that.
So it was only under a lot of pressure that they eventually relented.
Wow.
So he was, to a certain extent, he was trailblazing. He was a navigator and a bomber. He was in a crew of 7.
I mean, a lot of those bombers didn't actually come back, did they?
And his didn't come back, eventually.
Oh.
On his 5th mission, they were tasked with bombing a heavily defended target over Meinheim. They were spotted by a German night fighter, which shot them down. He got hit in his thigh and in his abdomen by shrapnel, and they had to parachute out of a burning plane.
Over Germany?
Over Germany.
So what happened next? This sounds like a film.
This is definitely, I'm already in it.
Well, he made a successful parachute jump, and he found himself in a snow-covered field, and eventually went into a barn to get some rest, made a mistake by lighting a cigarette.
No.
So within half an hour, there were German voices outside. They started shooting into the barn, so he had to come out with arms raised and surrendered.
Going through all of that, being shot down, this would have been with him.
This would have been with
For all of that?
I would have been with him.
I think that's amazing.
He was prisoner of war for 18 months, and he's got quite a few war medals.
Yeah.
And he's got a military MBE.
You must be so proud of him.
I am very proud.
I could see from your face. What an amazing history.
What would you like me to do with the hat?
Well, the most important thing are the moth holes,
Right, yeah.
which are substantial there.
Yeah.
And of course, the inside, it's very perished. I'm not expecting miracles, but it's part of him. It's the only part of him that we have left. If the moth holes could go, and if it looked in better condition, myself, my family, and the people who get to see this will be over the moon.
It deserves better.
And I think it's important that stories like this are told. It's making sure that what our forefathers or our fathers and grandfathers, the suffering that they went through to make sure that we could be free today is never, never, ever lost.
I promise you, we'll do the best we can to preserve it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What a story, eh?
From a distance, this hat looked fine, but now handling the cap, I can feel the texture, I can feel the wear and tear. The whole hat has a film of grease, but that's purely by handling over the years. Obviously, there has been moth activity, and there's been plenty of it. As I feel more of it, I can feel there's something else had gone on. The lining has sort of melted. It looks as if it's come in contact of some sort of heat. And even the feel of it is quite crisp. So there's a lot I need to deal with. First off, I'm going to use my hard bristle brush and try to work my way all around the hat to remove the layer of grease.
As JS continues restoring the RAF navigator's cap, Dom has hatched a plan to help preserve the wider history of John Smythe's war service.
Eddie has got an amazing collection of his father's medals, and I know how good Brenton is at polishing things like this up. And so I thought, wouldn't it be nice to make a little case, mostly glass, to keep everything safe, away from dust, away from moths, so you can see beautiful artifacts that are inside. I'm scribbling away here. I think I've got a plan. I just need to now put this into practice, see if it works.
As Dom safeguards the medals from future moths, Jayesh is preparing to cleverly hide the damage already caused by their ancestors.
I'm unpicking the stitching which holds the lining in place purely because I want to access some original fabric which I can use to mend the moth holes. So as you can see, I can use all the fabric which sits here to repair the moth holes. The twill fabric has lines to it, so it's a bit like pinstripe. When I use the donor fabric from the inside, the line closely match up, so the repair becomes almost invisible. I'm really happy the fabric from the inside of the hat matches up perfectly. The twill is aligned. What I need to do now is introduce a fine stitch and it becomes almost perfect.
The moth-eaten twill of the navigator's cap now patched up, the next step for Jayesh is to create a new lining that matches the old one.
The original color of the lining is burgundy, so what I'm going to do is dye the new fabric, so both the texture and the color are spot on. I've sourced two color dyes, and the one is red and the other is brown. I'm going to mix them together and try to get that burgundy that I need for the lining. So I'm happy with the color. What I need to do is get the fabric in, and I will need to be quick as possible because I want the color to be consistent. I've dyed the fabric and it has worked really well. I'm using the original lining as a template and hopefully it'll fit in the hat the way the original was, together with the old lining behind the new fabric, purely to hold on to the sole of the hat.
Master Hatter Jayesh is on course to finish his restoration of the navigator's cap.
What I'm doing now is I'm giving the brass buttons a quick polish. At this point, I'm getting slightly nervous. I'm just hoping that Eddie likes what I've done on the hat.
This cap belonged to John Smythe, who blazed a trail as one of the first black officers in the RAF during the Second World War, and who was extensively decorated for his wartime service. But after intensive airborne action, escape by parachute, and capture and interment, it had become moth-eaten, brittle, and torn.
Jayesh, how are you doing?
All done. Well, thank you, yes.
All finished?
All done.
It's looking beautiful.
John's son Eddie has returned to see if it can pay a more fitting tribute to his father's incredible achievements as an aircraft navigator.
Eddie, welcome back.
Nice to be back.
How have you been?
I've been good, thanks. Yes. In a funny sort of way, I've quite missed it. So I'm just looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to have it in a much better condition.
Well,
Yes.
Are you ready to take a look?
Oh, I'm desperate to take a look.
Come on then, Jayesh.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, my goodness. Look at the buttons. Where are the holes? Oh, God, look at the inside. This had perished totally. There were huge holes in it.
But all of that is still there.
Still inside. So what
Oh,
I've
is
done
it really?
There's a new cloth on top, but all the original stuff is
So you
there.
preserved the history
Absolutely.
of the blood, sweat and tears. It actually remains in the cap. Wow. This is what it would have looked like when my father got it. The first time he received this in a recruitment camp and put it on his head. This is what it looked like.
Yes.
If I felt worthy enough, I would wear it, but I've never felt worthy enough, so I've never put it on my head.
Have you not?
No, I think for someone to have this hat on.
He earned it.
He earned it, exactly.
The right to wear that.
He earned the right to wear this.
Hearing everything your father achieved has really made me think about how fortunate we all are now and how much freedom that we have. And it is really all thanks to his generation and everything that they sacrificed. And I just wanted to say a little thank you from myself. So I've made you something. Hopefully it's a fitting tribute.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Would you like to put the hat inside?
Yes, please.
Shall we?
Thank you.
Wow, that fits perfectly. It's more than my wildest expectations. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you're happy.
Happy is an understatement.
Yeah. I'll get the door for you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jayesh. Much
You're
appreciated.
welcome. You're welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was good.
Jayesh, well done.
He really liked it, didn't he?
You pleased?
I am now, yes.
Yeah.
The holes are gone, the lining's come back, and it's basically my dad's hat again. And if he were to see the hat now, I think he'd be delighted, but I also think he would suddenly realise just what he really did achieve during his extraordinary life.